talk about what actually happens at a psychological level when you stop caring, when you emotionally detach from a narcissist. It's not just that you ignore them or stop responding to their texts. It's far more profound than that. What you're doing, fundamentally, is pulling the plug on their control system. You are no longer feeding them the fuel they depend on to feel significant. Your attention, your emotional responses, your validation, your outrage, all of that was energy. And that energy, whether it was positive or negative, kept their ego inflated and the dynamic alive. You see, narcissists are not sustained by genuine connection. They're sustained by control. And control requires engagement, specifically emotional engagement. When you're reacting, when you're angry, explaining yourself, defending, begging, even pleading, they feel powerful. That's their arena. They orchestrate chaos and feed off your effort to make sense of it. But when you stop responding in the way they're used to, it's like you've stepped out of their matrix. You've exited the game they've spent so much time rigging. And here's the real psychological rub: narcissists don't cope well with emotional neutrality. Your indifference, your calm, your lack of investment, it sends a signal to their psyche that is deeply destabilizing. Why? Because they've constructed their entire sense of identity around being able to elicit reactions from others. When you stop reacting, it doesn't just annoy them, it threatens their very self-concept. They start questioning their grip on reality, their sense of power, their importance. And that's terrifying for them. Philosophically speaking, you've just reclaimed sovereignty over your own emotional domain. You've taken back responsibility for how you feel, where you place your attention, and who you allow to influence your inner life. That's no small thing. But once you reach that point of detachment, true detachment, not performative silence, you'll notice something extraordinary. The narcissist begins to unravel. They try new tactics, they escalate, they play the victim.
You hadn't have outed it to fucking my channel would be just fine.
They might even try to provoke you through others. But none of it lands the same. It doesn't penetrate. Why? Because you're no longer standing in their psychological arena. You've left the battlefield. And here's the deeper truth: you don't need to win the fight. You just need to stop playing the game. Narcissists operate on the belief that they can always get a reaction from you, that they can always pull you back in. The moment you prove them wrong, you break the illusion. And once the illusion is broken, so is their power. So ask yourself this: who holds the power? The one who demands attention, or the one who no longer gives it now? Once the narcissist realizes that you've stopped caring, truly stopped, they begin to feel something they spend their entire lives trying to avoid: emptiness. But not just the normal kind of loneliness or isolation that all of us face from time to time. I'm talking about a deep psychological void, an internal vacuum where self-worth should be. Because here's the reality: the narcissist's sense of self is not built from within. It's constructed externally, piece by piece, from how others see them, react to them, validate them. In psychological terms, they rely on what we call narcissistic supply. That's attention, admiration, obedience, emotional reaction, anything that confirms their inflated but fragile self-image. And you were one of their most reliable sources, not just because you cared, but because you cared deeply. You gave them significance.
I do appreciate people that have supported me, past, present, and future. And I do appreciate those who have my back. But one thing I realized, and I don't think I ever realized it until I had this conversation the other night, and I debated talking about it, but I decided to talk about it because I think it's important for everyone to hear, especially people that support me now. One of the things that I think people forget: yes, money is important. Yes, I need financial support. This is my job. It's one of them. This is my job. I pay the bills. I put food in my kid's mouth with this money. So yes, financial is important. But being that I am dealing with so many different personalities and so many different points of view, and I'm only one person, emotional support is extremely important towards me. And everybody gets in their, what's the word? Everyone gets in their own head and they worry about them. And like I said to someone, and some of you that have been here, you're not included in what I'm about to say. Whistle Down. Well, Whistle Down, you're not on Patreon. I'm going to go with Sly, Rock Gem, Sweet Misery, Angel, Amber, not Angel. I don't know why I said Angel. You guys are not included in this. Everyone that's still on Patreon, not included in this. But when everything went down, what I needed the most was support. I needed someone to reach out and say, "Are you okay?"
Just to be clear, this hoe is talking about after she got exposed as a CPS caller, she needed support.
My whole fucking world flipped upside down in that moment.
Ho, it's pretty sad that your whole entire world be based on a social media app.
And not one of these people, and again, the ones still here, ignore it. This has nothing to do with you. But I needed one of them before they ran and left to say, how are you? Are you okay?
This hoe is beyond delusional. She wanted people she done lied to for years to make sure she was okay. Like she a little fucking baby.
But everybody just thought of themselves and not Laura's whole fucking world is being turned upside down right now. Why? What can we do to help her?
So after lying to these people's faces, people who were already paying and supporting her for 3 or more years, she wanted more help from them. Ho, you is a fucking narcissist through and through.
What can we do to make this better? Even if we're going to leave, what can we do to help make this better for everybody?
For everybody? No, for you. You are the idiot who did something, knowing full well the consequences and how angry it makes people, and you still did it. Sounds like a you problem.
How do we make this better for her to not lose subscribers, members, whatever?
Again, ho, that's a you problem. Why should these people care what's going to happen to you? Why is it their responsibility to clean up your mess and make sure you can comfortably sit here being a lazy bum, living off the kindness of strangers and not getting a real fucking job to put food in your grown-ass kids' mouths?
But instead, it was a shock and it was, we're out of here. Okay.
Yeah, ho, none of these people owed you anything. They was paying and supporting you for years and you betrayed their trust. I'd run too. You are toxic.
But that's why I say financial support come and go. But true supporters will be there.
She can't even be bothered to call these people her friends. She referred to them as supporters like she's some famous fucking YouTuber.
And I'm going to say this right here and I'm going to call this out. Some people, and it's been said to me, some people sometimes don't like Sly Angel's attitude towards them. Okay. Have I ever addressed it? No. You want to know why? Because Sly was the first person to rally behind me.
So in other words, you don't care how this sly bitch be treating other people. As long as she be giving you that narcissistic supply you so desperate for. She rallied behind a lying CPS caller. She fooled by you. Congratulations, Sly.
She was the very first person, her and Amber were the first two people that asked me, are you okay? What can we do to help? What can we do? Like they did everything that a supporter fucking does.
Supporters, not friends. She couldn't even remember Amber's name to seconds ago, but she giving her ass pats for falling for her bullshit. These hoes clearly don't know your lengthy history of fuck shit and are clearly fooled by you playing the victim. I feel sorry for these hoes.
And they did everything to try to make it okay for me. Sly had a long conversation with me about, what I was doing wrong, what I needed to do, and explained to me why. And that meant the world to me.
So is that hoe the one who told you to go up on a live stream and double down on what you did? Or is she the one who told you to write that ridiculous email apology that you never even sent? Stop listening to this hoe, cause she ain't helping you.
Absolutely the world to me. So, and believe me, that's not saying that the two of them were so fucking happy with what happened, because they were not. But they took a minute to fucking realize, you know what? Here's someone we support. We need to support her. Even if we don't agree with the action she took, I can't even imagine what she's going through right now. I can't even imagine how she feels right now.
In other words, two dumb bitches.
When you were frustrated, even when you were exhausted, you still poured your emotional energy into trying to fix the relationship, to explain, to be understood. And that energy, that was fuel. It kept their illusion of control alive. So when that fuel stops flowing, what happens? It's like cutting the power to a life support machine. They panic. Not necessarily in a loud, dramatic way, although sometimes that happens. It's often subtle at first, a sudden, intense shift in their behavior. They become erratic. One moment they may lash out.
You hear rumors about me, I would like to fucking know what they are. If you have a fucking problem with me, I'd like to know what it is. Because I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing about this stupid CPS call that happened fucking almost 5 years ago. Get the fuck over it. I stand by that. Why is there a group that is still fucking talking about it Why are you pulling up and releasing private conversations from fucking years ago? That's mentally ill. You are mentally fucking ill. And there's so many private things that I could say, but I won't because I'm not a fucking cunt like you. But I will say this. For the person, Tara, who keeps releasing screenshots from private conversations, here's my question to you, Tara. Why don't you ever show them that you were involved in all of these conversations? Oh, wait, you can because you went back and erased all of your shit. Here's a newsflash, people. Do not, and I mean do not, trust Tara Boo, Tyra Boo, whatever the fuck she goes by now. Don't ever trust her. Ever. And I do mean ever. She is a fucking lying ass cunt snake.
The next, they might try to pull you back in with charm or false humility.
And again, I'm accessible. If you have this much fucking hate towards me for absolutely no reason, and you're not a fucking liar like Tony New York, then just fucking reach out to me. I'm more than willing and capable of having a conversation.
That's not because they've had an epiphany or grown emotionally. It's because they're starving. Think of it like this. A narcissist doesn't love in the way healthy people do. They don't connect through empathy. They connect through control and dependence. You weren't just a partner, a friend, or a family member to them. You were a mirror. And now that mirror's gone dark. Now they have to face themselves without the reflection they were using to define who they are. This is where their desperation kicks in. You'll notice attempts to bait you back in, maybe through drama or guilt or sudden apologies that seem out of character. But again, we have to understand the psychology behind this. The narcissist isn't seeking reconciliation. They're seeking restoration of control. And they'll say or do whatever it takes to get it, even if it means pretending to be the person they think you want them to be. But here's the philosophical challenge and the opportunity, recognizing that this moment, this withdrawal of care, is a crossroads not just for them, but for you. Because the impulse to respond, to engage, to rescue, it's still there. You may feel guilt. You may feel doubt. That's normal. But it's crucial to distinguish between compassion and codependence. You are not responsible for managing someone else's sense of identity. You are responsible for maintaining your own integrity, your own emotional health. And so when the narcissist starts to feel the absence of your attention, they will reach. But let them reach into emptiness. Let them sit in the silence you've created. That silence is not cruelty. It's clarity. If you continue to feed the fire just because it's burning, you'll never know the peace of putting it out. When you stop caring, when you withdraw your emotional energy from the narcissist's orbit, they don't just feel rejected. They feel exposed. They've spent so much time constructing a persona, carefully curated to appear superior, charming, competent, whatever facade suits their goals. And part of that persona relies on your participation. You were part of the script, a character in the story they told themselves and others about who they are. So when you opt out, when you no longer validate that version of reality, the narcissist experiences it not as indifference, but as betrayal. Now, betrayal, especially in the narcissistic psyche, doesn't elicit introspection. It triggers retaliation. Why? Because the narcissist is not structured to tolerate ego injury. They don't process rejection as a normal part of human experience. Instead, they experience it as humiliation, as an existential threat. And when they feel threatened, they don't look inward, they strike outward. This is when you often see the rise of what psychologists refer to as a smear campaign. It's a reactive defense mechanism designed to reclaim control over the narrative. Suddenly, they become the victim in a story they have entirely rewritten. You may be painted as unstable, cruel, selfish, even abusive, all to justify their version of events.
If 3 years has gone by and you are so emotionally fucking damaged from me, I don't care if it was a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you are so fucking emotionally damaged from me, you need psychological help. And there's nothing anyone on YouTube can do for you. And I mean that.
Why? Because if they can't control you anymore, they'll try to control how others see you. But there's something deeper going on beneath the surface here. This need to rewrite the narrative is about more than saving face. It's about restoring psychological equilibrium. The narcissist cannot tolerate the idea that they've been seen through, that someone has glimpsed behind the mask and walked away. That kind of rejection punctures their delusion of superiority, and in response, they seek validation elsewhere to reinforce it. There's also a tribal, almost primitive psychology at work. Narcissists often operate in social groups like emotional politicians, carefully managing alliances. When they sense they're losing one source of supply, they'll rally others to ensure that their identity remains intact. It's not enough for them to believe their version of events. They need an audience that agrees, an echo chamber that reflects the image they're desperate to maintain.
This hoe be desperate, all right. I've never seen anyone play the victim of her own wrongdoings like this hoe do. She's not just narcissistic, she have a whole ass personality disorder. Listen to her trying to gaslight and downplay what she did.
For real. JP, let me explain some. It doesn't even matter. Nothing happened. Nothing came of it. It didn't mean anything. Her kid is not fucking traumatized because if he was, she wouldn't still be talking about me. She has talked about me every time she goes live for 5 fucking years. Shit that was said to the father, about the father, big fucking deal. And to be honest with you, I don't even fucking remember what I said. I said it in the heat of a moment because she wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Big deal? You told a government agency that a father was showing his minor kid pornographic material. You don't think that's a big deal? And you didn't say that shit in the heat of the moment. This was a calculated effort. You strategically purchased a phone so your number couldn't be traced. Used a fake name and then made the call. This was not in the heat of the moment, you sick fuck.
But then she continues to talk about me for the next 4 or 5 years. Come on, JP. Give me a fucking break. And again, nobody knows what they'll do at their breaking point. Nobody. Nobody.
Ho, we've all been at breaking points before in life. You log off the internet and get yourself help. You don't go by burner phones and lie about people and try to hurt a kid and family because you can't take some criticism.
When you're at a breaking point and you just want it to stop, you don't know what you're going to do. It's very fucking easy for people to say what they're going to do and to, be all righteous. You don't know what you're going to do. You don't know when you're at a breaking point, because I've heard people say, you come after my kids and I'm going to fucking do this. And it's all, all well in love and war and blah, 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 blah.
Bitch, you was a grown-ass fucking 50-year-old woman. You don't know what you're going to do? You don't have control over yourself? This was not a heat-of-the-moment thing, ho. You carefully planned this shit and had ample time to stop, collect yourself, and think about what you were doing. That argument would never hold up in a court of law. This was first degree, premeditated. It's like going and buying a gun, bleach, garbage bags, and a shovel before you go shoot someone. Stop acting like this was some spontaneous action in the heat of the moment, bitch. You had several other options before you did what you did.
And you know what? You just don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have zero sympathy for MM. No, MM is makeup monster. Zero sympathy. She doesn't shut the fuck up.
Ho, I'm sure she don't fucking want or care about your sympathy, but I'm pretty sure it's you who won't shut the fuck up. You've been live multiple times this week talking about this shit, acting like a victim, and she ain't said shit.
So if anyone wants to say how traumatized she was, if that was the case, then you wouldn't talk about me at all. And the people in her group wouldn't talk about me at all. Because they'd be like, oh, she's a loose cannon. She's going to call again, blah, blah, blah.
So if you've been assaulted by someone, you should just be quiet. Don't tell anyone because the offender may offend again. Ho, shut the fuck up. Ain't no one scared of your burner phone ass. You already destroyed your channel by doing it once. Go ahead and put the final nail in your coffin, psycho.
They know damn fucking well that I was at a breaking point. Plain and simple.
I tell your ass that you need help, but I think you is clearly beyond that point. You are a narcissist, and every time you open your mouth, you prove that shit.